There are characters that are very mischievous and they'll go boo and make us all jump. I have to wait and see who comes first. A bit like waiting for a bus.
Is it really, dear?
Yes, it is like waiting for the bus.
Are you waiting for a bus?
No, I'm not waiting for a bus this evening.
Well, why did you say you're waiting for a bus?
I said because waiting for spirit is a bit like waiting for a bus.
Well, we haven't got wings, you know. We can't fly in like a super duper aeroplane.
Oh, what a shame.
We don't catch a bus either.
Oh, no.
Well, if we do, then it's an invisible bus. Of the old variety, not of the new variety that you have.
Yes. Good evening, friend.
Now, why are you calling me friend?
Well, you are our friend.
Yes, but you normally call me by my name.
I know I normally call you by your name.
Well, then can you call me by my name?
Good evening, sir.
Is Sid here?
Yes.
This is the first time, Miss Freeman, that you've actually called me friend and you haven't called me by my name.
Well, I apologise.
So you should, you naughty girl.
The other thing is I'm always in trouble.
Well, you should, as they say, you should think before you speak.
Yes.
Well, never mind, you're forgiven.
Thank you.
Now, we have a nice variety of people here tonight, don't we?
We do.
We have different people as well.
Yes, we've got new people.
Now, why are they all here, do you think?
Because they want to hear your voice come through the media.
They can, can't they?
Yes, they can. They can hear you through the power of the television screen.
What television screen is this?
Well, it's a contraption that's got a very small television screen on it, and it projects your image and your sound into their television screen.
Are they black and white?
No, they're in colour. We've got beautiful colours.
Oh, well, that is news. Of course, I didn't have a TV in my day.
No.
But I've seen TVs over the years, or television sets, or whatever you call them, where these magic voices seem to come out of them. So it shows really how the world has moved on in the years and the time that I've been passed away into the spirit world.
Definitely.
Well, how would you know definitely if you're not dead? Have you ever gone without TV?
Yes.
And have you ever gone without a radio?
Yes.
And have you lived in silence?
No.
Well, there you are then. So you've got sound around you. I mean, if you can imagine living in life where there's nothing but bombs and air raids and doodlebugs going off, you didn't have time to listen to the radio because you were too scared to run and hide. And you always knew when to run because doodlebugs would stop and everyone was worried, you know, where they were going to drop or where they were going to explode or where they were going to land. And London was hit quite badly, you know. Are you still there, dear?
Yes, I'm still here. I'm listening.
Well, can you reply back then?
Yes, certainly.
Right. Yes, so you see, in the war days, it was not a good time, really. It was quite a ferocious time. And I mean ferocious because, you know, all the bangs and the noises that you heard, and plus there was also lots of thieving going on as well, where people tried to survive. Because, you know, there was a food shortage and you had to have these little stamps where you used to go and collect the groceries or the bread. And it was like a ration book. Do you know what ration books are, dear?
Yes, I have seen them.
Yes, well, that's what we used to have in the war, the ration book. My sister Enid would go down into the ration book and go and collect what we could have. And that had to last us for as long as I can remember. So we lost quite a lot of weight in those days. And you imagine from 1939 to 1945 is quite a long time, 6 years. If you like, it was like being on a diet, really, but not a diet. It was more like a starvation diet because everyone suffered. And of course, there was absolute thousands and thousands of deaths as well. And people passed away to the spirit world long before me and my sister did, of course. And I knew nothing about the spirit world. In fact, I just thought it was a load of gobbledygook. It gave me no interest whatsoever. I just thought once you died, you're buried, and that was it. But when I died, I found out that I wasn't dead because I could still see everything, but no one could see me. So it's quite easy, to give someone the ghosty touch, as they say, and go and touch them and say boo-hoo, but I didn't because I'm not that kind of a person, you see. And, going over to the spirit world, you never go on your own. There's always other members of the family that suddenly appear around you and they help you out of your old carcass or your old body. Because otherwise, if they weren't there, you'd be, if you like, grounded and you wander around looking and searching and finding nothing. But if you know your family are there to welcome you over and hold you and comfort you and all that kind of stuff, then they take you over to the spirit world. And it was quite a remarkable experience, really, because they talk about the white light, go towards the white light. It's like looking at a candle, and even though we burnt many a candle, and it is like that in a way. You seem to be walking for quite some distance, but you're not. It's just like I would say, like a couple of seconds, and then you're in another world. And believe me, when you cross over to the spirit world, and you then see lots of other family members there, and sometimes you think to yourself, "Oh my God, I'm dead." But I don't know, because all the family that's there, I didn't realise or understand that they could hear my thoughts. And, I didn't believe in swearing. I wasn't a swearing person.
No.
Well, if you class damn as a swear word, and I just thought to myself, "Oh, damn." And they all laughed at me. And, we have to rest as well because of the passing that I had, which apparently, according to what I was told, was quite a traumatic passing.
Oh, bless you.
I was greeted, but I was also taken to, I think it was something not like a waiting room, but it's like a hospital kind of place where all new spirit people arrive. You have to lay on this bed. And I thought, well, I hope it's not lumpy, but it wasn't. It was quite a nice bed, but made to suit my back because I always remember having terrible back pain, lower back pain, and top. In fact, my whole of my spine was in pain, but they disappeared. But when you cross over, you still keep imagining the pain is there because once you're human, you suffer so much in life. But when you cross over, you still carry on thinking that you're suffering in life, but you suffer in death as well. But you don't. And as soon as I believed that I was safe, the pain went. But then, there's an extremely big tiredness that overcomes you. And when you lay down and you do fall asleep, I could do a little snooze anyway. I fell asleep and I woke up and I just thought it was a big dream. And then I woke up and all the family were there. And it scared the life out of me because I thought, where am I? And then it was my mother that said, "Oh, Sydney, you're dead. You are now a spirit person. You're no longer human." And you know what? I was more worried about where my body was, what was to become of me. And she said, "Well, it doesn't matter anymore because you're safe with us. You don't need to worry about your body because you can't go back into it." And I just kept thinking, well, what if they can't bury me? What if no one finds me? And, so you do worry about things like that, dear. But then I slept again and I woke up and I was greeted with more family members I've not seen in a long, long time. And then the biggest surprise was my sister Enid came in
How
and she
lovely.
explained everything to me. And she said, there's nothing to worry about, Sid. You're quite in God's hands. And I thought, good God. And she said, yes, it is a good God. And I said, no, I'm just saying that out of expression. Because I wasn't a religious person. I did have my beliefs and my faiths and all that, but I wasn't a firm believer in God until I arrived in the spirit world. And, it made such an impact on my life being over there to being here in this world. Because, I don't think I would have liked to still be alive in your world now and suffering all the pain that I was going through. Mind you, if I was still alive now, I'd probably be about 150, which I know I couldn't get to. But, age does come to all of us. And age also creeps up on us so fast. Once we're 20, then we're 40, then we're 60. Where do the years go? And when you see all these younger people running around having fun, and you think to yourself now, I used to be like that. Why can't I be like that now? But, you can't be like that now, not in Earth world. But in the spirit world, though, you can be the age that you want to be. But coming back here as I am now, I'm this old man that's got severe pain in his back because I choose to. And it's nice that I can speak and explain to everybody what the spirit world is like, because I know there's many a question that's always asked, what's the spirit world like? What do they do over there? Do we sit on a cloud and play harps and sing all day? I wish we did, but we don't. We don't have to grow things, unfortunately. We don't have to grow things. We don't have to pick nothing. And we don't have to do anything. But we help and guide the families that we leave behind, which is more of a task, but it's a good task. Because, in your world, everyone has a decision to make, whether it's a right one or a good one, a wrong one or a bad one. But it's all down to your own mind and your own self-confidence and your thinking that makes you make mistakes or makes you a winner. And that's why, you see, we congregate around you all to try and protect you from walking into danger. And even though some of you may, or all of you may have had a bad life, but it's of your thinking, it's not about doing. Because, I hear so many people always say, oh, God, when is this going to stop? Oh, God, why won't you help me? Well, why should God help you? If you can't help yourself, then why should God help you? God's always there to protect you, love you and nurture you. But he can't help you because it's your own decisions that you make. It's a bit like driving a car, riding a horse, whether you fall off or whether you crash through incompetence of not being able to drive that vehicle properly. That's entirely up to the learning stages of your life. And whether you reach an old age or young age or whatever age you reach in your world, it's entirely up to how you believe it to be. You can have the most roughest of lives and then suddenly pass away. And then once you're here, you're thinking, oh, why couldn't I have made my life different? Oh, why couldn't I have made it happy? Well, it's too late to think then. You need to think now and how you can improve your life and make your life more worthy and make it more happier. Don't walk around with a face like a pot of wet paint. Varnish it up a little bit more because, happiness is happiness and happiness is in the making of how you want it to be. In my day and age, there wasn't a lot of happiness because I lived in a totally different dimension from probably most of you here tonight. But life is still what you can make it, what you want it to be. But, I always say, though, be truthful to yourself as be truthful to others. Because the more you lie, who's kidding who? Because, I've met many a liar in my life, and lies always have this uncertain term of catching up with you. And then you have to explain yourself to several people about why you lied 1, 2, 10, 20, 30 all your life. You've got to be a very good liar to be a liar. And that is the truth, you know. But if you tell the truth, speak the truth, and feel the truth within each and every one of you, then you'll know what I mean. And when you look at yourself in the mirrors, many of you will say, oh, I don't know how I look. Oh, I think I'll colour my hair. Oh, I think I'll wear different makeup. Oh, what clothes fit me? I'm too fat. I'm too thin. Why does everybody in your world pick holes in yourself? You're alive, you're well, there's nothing wrong with you, but people seem to ridicule themselves. But God made you the way you are. And the way you are now is far better, I should imagine, than what you were when you was younger. And even though I can admit myself that I had many faults in many areas when I was younger, yes, I did make a lot of mistakes. But they were mistakes I had to learn by, I had to rectify. And you know, when you come to the spirit world, I didn't realise you were faced with, it's like the book of life. Read the book of Sydney. So I had to read it to find all the dreadful things or nasty things or anything bad that I'd done in my life. And I had to admit to what I'd done. Because in the spirit world, it's all truth. So I couldn't just sit there or stand there and say, oh, that's a lie, because it wasn't. It was all truth. So they say what you reap is what you sow. And what you reap in this world of lies, you'll take with you to the spirit world. And when you do get over here, you have to answer all the questions as, why lie about this? Why lie about that? So you could be at the pearly gates or something like the pearly gates, and you could be up there for years. Admitting, I never did this, I never done that, but you did. And it's better to be humble, to be more kinder to oneself, to be gracious, and to be proud of who you are. Because, you know, I know there's a lot of things that are going in your world now, which doesn't exactly make me a happy person because of the constant fighting and constant wars and the, well, everything is going wrong in your world. It shouldn't be like that. I know it was wrong in my world, but there was a reason for that. Britain wasn't a rich country, and it still isn't now, so I understand. But we had the Germans, and we had everybody against us. And we even had to accept help from the Americans in the end. But I don't blame nobody, because no one is to blame. You know, it takes one person to tell another person to tell another person, and before you know it, you've got an army. And that one army always believes one person in what they say and what they do is right. And that's why I say about lying. It takes one good liar to convince 20, 30, 40 other liars to follow him. And then you'll find he's got a massive army. And it's so wrong because, you know, so many people, so many gentlemen from around the world, and let's say Italy, France, Spain, Germany, any other country around the world, everyone's suffered. And it's so wrong. Why make the world suffer? And that's why I always say, you know, heaven and hell. And if you want to know where hell is, then I'm going to say you're living in it. You know, and it's like the devil and the deep blue sea. We're the deep blue sea, but where's the devil? And if you don't know who the devil is, then who's the fallen angel of God? Everyone always says, oh, he was pushed off his throne. He was God's right-handed man or right-handed angel. But he absconded because he tried to take over God's world. So you think of having two worlds that were full of evil characters and evil promises and evil things occurring. It would be so wrong. So he was banished to the earth world. And you see, my point is that now in your world, that's why there's so many different people. And you could use the word, oh no, what's the word I've heard several times? Not quite right in the head. Or people that go in hospitals and torture themselves. Or psychiatric patients, that's what I mean. So how do you know that they can't see spirit? How do you know that we haven't sent spirit to protect them? Because, you know, people are vulnerable. And they have been all the years I've been around. They've been very vulnerable. And vulnerability is an awful thing to have because it causes the mind to think, feel various different things. But is it the truth? And only we know the truth. Does that all make sense to you?
It does. It makes perfect sense, Sydney.
So you see, and no, I know there's different various types of medicines that is used in your world now, far more than in my time. I think we only had anodine or whatever, or aspirin or whatever it is. But I know your medication has advanced a lot since those days. But there's still the constant battle between the devil and the deep blue sea. And as far as I'm concerned, I am the deep blue sea. And I don't wish to mix with the other side because I don't believe I'm nasty and I'm rotten and I'm evil. I believe I'm a nice, kind, honest person that has chosen to come through and speak to the earth people because otherwise we don't get a chance.
No.
And I heard the medium say earlier on, you know, that you get messages from mediums, some good, some bad, some not so good. But when you hear the spirit people talk, it makes a big, big difference in your life. Because you can think, oh, he's conning, oh, he's all trickery, oh, he's inventing voices. But is he? And this is for you to judge, not me, because I don't pretend to be anybody apart from plain old Sydney who comes from Clapham Junction, who worked in a furniture shop over by Clapham Junction station. And I lived in a little house, and it was a very little house, with very few bits of furniture in it. And I used to walk to work. I didn't get the tram bus, so I used to walk to work. And I enjoyed my work, crafting and making chairs, making tables, and anything I could make, I would. But then when the war hit, of course, the work was declined a lot. Well, apparently it was declined because the place was blown up. And so therefore I couldn't work. So hence the ration books coming in. And it was a very sad occasion. So it's actually nice, you know, to come back and talk about everything and to mention everything that the spirit people, including myself, what our lives were like. Because I know there's a lot of people in your world now that they think money speaks. But I was always told that money is the root to all evil. And it is really. Because the more money you have, the more you can spend, then you become Mrs. Hoity-toity. And you could come from the most easiest of backgrounds and think you're rich, but you're not, because your soul is not a rich soul, it's a poor soul that is left at the end of the day crying because you're pretending to be someone you're not, mixing with the right people when you're not. Always stick with your own, speak with your own, and if anybody does come along, they accept you for who you are, not what they want you to be. Because no one should mock anybody as to their background, where they come from, what they did, or what they work as. I knew someone many years ago that was a coal person. He used to deliver coal off the back of a lorry. But he swore blindly he wasn't a coalman. And he always used to tell people that he was in the land delivery service, delivering vegetables. So he lied. And even though he's in the spirit world now, but it was one enormous lie that he had to come to terms with. Why lie? If life is life. You cannot avoid life. You cannot avoid the truth. Because the truth always comes back and, in a nice way, bites you on the bum. And it does get you at times. And that's why I think, you know, there's so many people in the world that think, and they should know exactly what to do, know exactly what to say. And even with all your spiritual gifts that you have, treasure them, nurture them, make it grow. Be the person that you want to be, not what others want you to be. Because you're always going to find, I think the word is parasites. But you're always going to get those kind of people that want this, want that, want this, want that. But you're only as good as what you are, and you're only as good as what the spirit world wants you to be. And you may have the most magnificent guides, but it doesn't make you a good medium. It's all process, it's all a learning process. And the process still doesn't stop, even when you cross over, because then you can come back and you can teach someone else all what you knew about mediumship, or trance mediumship, or healing mediumship. So it's a learning process that just goes around and around. It never stops. Am I making sense to you?
You're making perfect sense, Sydney.
Well, I hope so. I hope everyone is happy with what I'm saying.
Yeah, everybody's still awake.
Oh, well, at least they're not asleep. That's a good
No,
thing.
they're not asleep yet. No.
Well, when they start on the old gin and smoke a cigar or a cigarette, I know they're bored. But you know, I always say practice what you preach, but practice in a good way, not a bad way. Because you know, it's like the fresh apple that turns mouldy, or the nice ripe orange that turns mouldy once you cut it open. It's all mould inside. And the mould represents what you are in your personality, in your heart. And you shouldn't be like that. Just be who you are, accept life. If someone's wrong to you, then you've got every right to say, well, I'm sorry, I disagree. Or if you want to go further, you can say, I'm sorry, but you're lying. You've got to be honest and not just humbly think, oh, I suppose you didn't mean it really, or you didn't mean it really. But they did. So be humble to yourself, because that helps you grow as a human person as well. And I've learned an awful lot over the years. And even being in the spirit world, I've learned, and I've watched, and I've watched, and I've learned. And working with the medium now, it's taken a long time to get the connection right. But I knew that one day it would happen. So, and now is the right time for it to happen, because I'm sure every one of you think, what is the spirit world like? Do we snore when we sleep? Do we lay on the beach in a bikini or trunks and swim all day? What about the animals? Where do they go? Well, the animals are with us. And people will say, well, do they bark and meow over in the spirit world? Well, they don't need to bark and meow, because we can hear what they're saying. Because everything in the spirit world is telepathy. If I brought a pussycat in now and you hear it meowing, that would be so nice. But if we both go back to the spirit world, then I know exactly what the pussycat's saying, because I read its mind, or it will read my mind. And it is the true wonders of spirit. And you know, it's such a shame that there aren't a few more people in your world that take their gifts. Well, they do take it for granted, but I wish that people would think of the animal kingdom, because animals are just as important as human persons. And because they bark or they meow, they move like a cow, or a little monkey or parrots or anything, they've all got voices. They just have to use their own version of talking, but we can't understand them. But we can over in the spirit world, because everything is done by telepathy, or is mind to mind. Which I know that there are a few mediums in your world that actually do link with the animals, which give the animals the right to express what they feel, how they're feeling, if they're ill, because we moan enough about our health. We moan about if our toenails are too long, I'll get them cut. But you imagine a poor horse that's got something wrong with its hoof or hoof. Well, that horse is not going to turn around and say, can you sort out my hoof, please? It hurts. We just take it for granted. And you see, that's my main point. Everything is taken for granted in life, and it should be taken for granted in life, because everything is a living soul and everything is a living energy. As you know, the saddest part is that when you lose someone, and you have to go through the grieving process, as awful and as horrible as it sounds, but you have to go through the grieving process of why them, why me, why her. But it all boils down to, we don't know when we're going to die, or pass over, or cross over. You don't know. Does that make sense, yeah?
It does make sense, Sydney, yes.
Are they still awake?
Yeah, they're still all awake.
They're not drinking or smoking or
No,
snoring.
no. They're being very, very well behaved. They're all
Well,
smiling.
I must be doing something right then, mustn't I?
Of course you are, my darling.
Well, I'm going to wrap this up now because I think I've spoken on for far too long. But I know there's someone else here.
Okay, thank you, Sydney.
So you take great care.
And you, my darling.
And I will speak to you all again very soon. I hope I'm not bored, everybody.
No, not at all.
It is important knowledge that everyone needs to know, share, and share with others. Because knowledge is the foundation of life. Whether you're in spirit or whether you're not in spirit, this is a foundation that needs to be built, but built like a kingdom and not just like a house or a shack or a shed. So I will leave you with all what I've said, actually. I know I've probably gone on and on a bit.
It doesn't matter, Sydney. It was very, very, very relevant.
Well, I can only say what I see, what I hear. And I always say the truth is the truth at the end of the day.
Definitely.
So I will wish you all well.
God bless you.
Well, thank you, dear, but God bless all of you as well. You may God bless them all for me, dear.
Thank you.
I can't remember who was talking. So tell me, dear, why are you always talking and no one else does?
Because I'm supposed to be the conductor, and sometimes it's the distractive back noise that disturbs the medium.
I thought conductor was where you orchestrated an orchestra.
Well, I'm orchestrating the seance.
So you're not performing miracles in the musicians?
No, Sydney, far from it.
Well, you've lost me, dear. How can you conduct a room full of people when they're not playing instruments?
Because you're assisting them to be at the seance.
What's the seance?
Well, the meeting.
I thought the seance was when you sit around the table and you say, boo-hoo, is anyone there?
Well, sometimes you do, but we went boo-hoo and Sydney appeared.
Well, never mind, anyway. Never mind. It doesn't really matter anyway. But as long as it's all made sense.
It's made sense.
That's all that matters.
Definitely.
So I would let the next person come in because I know they're trying to push me off my little spot on the dial here, my little box. So I would say tally ho, and you take great care, dear, and everyone else take great care as well.
They will.
And God bless you.
Bless
take
you.
Great care. Good evening.
Good evening.
And how are we all today?
We're very well, thank you.
Oh, now, are you a busy woman?
Of course I am.
How busy are you?
Very busy.
In what way are you busy?
Well, I'm busy sitting here conducting this, and I'm busy in life.
Now, I heard you say conducting, yeah. Now, what are you conducting?
So I sit and I assist the medium.
I'm going to follow on from what the old boy had to say. What are you conducting? Because I thought to conduct orchestrated an orchestra.
No, it's not an orchestra. It's organising the meeting, making sure that the medium's looked after.
I'm talking, dear.
Yeah, I know.
You orchestrated a seance. We don't have seances here, dear.
Well,
this is where we speak and express. We're not in a seance.
Well, it's the same thing, but we've got the lights on.
Well, no, it's not the same thing. Get your facts right, girl. It's a meeting. It's a meeting between your world and our world.
Definitely. Well, so is a seance, but never mind. It doesn't matter.
Well, it does matter, actually. But never mind anyway. Now, how is everybody else?
Do you want them to be able to speak?
Well, it would help, you know.
Okay, so you can unmute yourselves.
Their voice is always nice to hear, you know. There's a few tasty little girlies there on board.
Hi.
There's quite a nice bunch of women there. How are you, girls?
Nice, good.
Well,
who's speaking like that? She speaks like she's coming through a trumpet.
No, No, it's just the sound quality.
Why is the sound quality not a good one then?
Sometimes it is, but sometimes we get extra voices in the background because other people try and push in at the same time as you're speaking.
Well, how dare they push it? Now, who's going to say hello first?
You
Well,
can
speak up then, girls. I don't
somebody
mind.
say hello to him, otherwise I'm going to be in more trouble.
I'll start. Hello.
Hello, dear. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Now, I take it that you study well, do you?
I do what, sorry?
You study well? Do you need your ears cleaned out?
Probably.
Well, I suggest you get a bit of cotton wool and screw your ears, dear.
I will do that.
So how are you anyway?
I am very, very well. How are you?
Yeah. Well, I'm dead. How are you?
I'm live and kicking.
Well, I'm glad someone is then, because I'm not alive and kicking. I'm dead and buried. But I'm still quite happy where I am, though.
That's good.
So tell me now, you're a clever little morsel, aren't you?
What?
You're a clever
Morsel,
little
girl,
morsel.
you're a clever person.
I'm a clever oh, I'm very clever. Yeah.
No, you're not very clever. You are clever. You should never brag about being very clever, because that can put the wind up other people when they think, oh, she's a big head.
I was being sarcastic. I'm okay. Yeah.
You're being sarcastic, are you?
I
Well,
was.
don't try it with me, dear, because it doesn't work. But I will say you are very clever, and you're quite intelligent girl as well.
Yes.
Now, is this right? You do
Bragging, but I'm not
writing?
bragging.
I'm talking, dear. I don't need you to brag.
I'm sorry.
I'll tell you when you're bragging. Now, do you do lots of writing?
Not so much now.
But you have done, though, haven't you?
A little bit, yes.
Well, then you've just lied. But I've got this good feeling that you're going back into the writing mode again fairly soon.
That's good.
Because you do get quite inspired by the spirit world.
Yes, I think I do.
No, you do. You don't think. You do, dear.
Okay, I do.
Yes, you do. See, you need to be more positive about yourself. And
Yeah.
you need to be more upfront with yourself and say, I can, I will, I do. Not, oh, I think. By the time you thought, that's a month or a week gone by.
Yeah, you're right.
I know I'm right. I'm dead. Oh, I'm spirited, actually. So I just got a feeling now that you're going to do extremely well.
Well, thank you.
Right, who else wants to say hello to me?
Corinne, say hello.
I'll say hello.
Who's that saying hello?
That's Corinne.
Corinne? What kind of name is that? Is it a Cork name?
No, it's
Call
a
me
very
Karina.
Call you what?
Call me Karina.
Karina.
Is that better?
Well, you sound like a pretty drink. But never mind. Well, you're a sprightly looking woman as well.
Thank you.
You know, I'm in my 80s, but I don't mind someone a little bit younger.
Oh, bless you. I like an older man.
I beg your pardon, madam, I'm not old. I
Mature
come right
man.
off of you now by calling me old.
Mature man.
Now, I take it that you're in quite a lot of agony and pain a lot of the time, but you don't moan.
That's true.
But I know it's true. And I also tell, you have little doubts of yourself as well.
Now and again.
No, not now and again, dear. You haven't quite often.
Okay.
So don't you argue with me, because you won't win. I'm telling you that now.
I won't argue with you.
No, I wouldn't, because
agree.
you'll lose the battle, You'll lose the battle. But you're a good woman. You're not a very good cook, though, are you?
So. Used to be, not now.
Yes, you're not now. You're more scrap and see what I can piece together. Where before, apparently, you was always in the kitchen with your apron on.
Yeah, that's
Now
true.
you're lucky if you get out of your chair with your skirt on, let alone your apron. So it's all ready meals, is it?
No, it's not all ready meals.
Well, there have been occasions where you have done so.
Yeah, I don't do the cooking anymore. I can't.
No, don't blame me. I wouldn't eat your cooking now, dear. You'd probably poison me.
No, I wouldn't.
But you're a good person, though. That's what I like to hear. You're a good person. You're a kind
Thank
person.
you. Thank you.
But you know, sometimes you're too kind to the wrong people.
That's true.
And you know, you won't say what you really want to say to them, and you should.
I used to.
No, you don't need to. You should. Dear. You should. Not I need.
Yeah.
Like me saying I need my life back, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So you should be yourself and speak your mind. Say what's on your mind. Because you know your mind is universal.
Yeah.
Where's she gone?
Yes,
I'm
she's
here.
Oh,
I'm
right.
here.
Well, why does your voice keep disappearing then?
I don't know, but I'm here.
Are you on the telephone?
No.
Oh, well.
Can you hear me all right? I'll talk
Of course I
louder.
can, dear. You don't need to shout. I might be a little bit older than you, but I'm not deaf.
That's good.
But you're a nice person. Then why is your hair short?
I like
Your hair,
it short.
your hair used to be quite long years ago.
Very long. Yeah.
It's down by your waist.
Not quite to me waist.
Well, it wasn't far short of your waist because you had it plaited. Well, I suppose as you get older, then you've got to change your appearance a little bit, even if you can't cook.
It's easier to manage now.
Well, you look more like Friar Tucks than you do anyone else.
There's
But never
nothing wrong
mind.
with Friar Tuck.
I didn't say there was, dear. I just said you look like him with your short hair.
Okay.
So who else is here? Where's the man with the big bushy beard?
that's Steve. Is
I
Steve
don't care
there?
what his name is. I said, where is the man?
He's there. Go on,
Yeah.
Steve.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you, young man.
Okay.
So you're quite spiritual as well.
I am, yeah.
And are you writing a book as well?
Yes. On and
And
off?
are you using a different name and not your own?
Yes.
Well, that's a good idea, you know, because you don't want all of the sundry coming and saying, I wrote. And plus, if you used your own name, you wouldn't sell anyway.
This is true. Yeah.
I know it's true. That's why I'm telling you. And have you written 4 books?
I've written a few. Yeah. Never published any though.
No, well, a few of them are absolute gobbledygook, don't make sense, but some of them are actually quite good.
Thank you.
Have you done inspired writing? So I've been told.
I've not done that for many, many years, but yes.
And did you not do an inspired writing to do with flowers and plants?
Yes, it did.
Yes, you did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Now tell me, now, you're quite a weighty person, aren't you?
Yes.
Why do you like being the size you are then? Because you're quite an energetic, dramatic man.
Poor diet.
This is a very poor diet. Send you to another country, they probably eat off you for a week.
You know,
So you need to, and you know, we can go on about your blood pressure as well.
yeah, it's quite high.
You don't say, I know it's true. So you need to take great care of yourself, young Stephen.
I do try.
No,
Very
you
well.
don't. You don't try. That's the trouble. You lied again. You don't try. In your brain, you're trying, but in your mind, you're not. Because your brain always keeps in, says, oh, one little sandwich won't hurt, but it depends what you put in the sandwich.
There's
Whether
always
it's half a cupboard or half a freezer. All right, aren't I?
you are, yeah. There's
I
always-
know. You see, because the spirit world are around you quite a lot of the time, so they know what's going on. They tell me, tell him off, tell him off. You need to think of your health a lot more, young man. They tell me, how old are you now?
34.
You're young chicken, what you on about? When you get to my age, then you can complain and moan, but you're not nowhere near the age I am.
Nope.
Well, say no, I'm not.
No, I'm not. I'm nowhere near.
No. And what's wrong with your eyes?
I have short-sightedness and astigmatism.
Have your glasses not been changed?
They were changed last year, but the
Yes, that
prescription.
was last year. You need them rechanged again.
I do,
Because
yeah.
without your glasses, you're as blind as a bat.
I am, yeah. Yeah.
I know you are. There's no point in saying, oh, I can see. You're kidding yourself. Now I say you want to be a blind old pudding, then you can be. But you won't. And you do believe in the spirit world.
Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes, very much. Sorry.
Well, then if you very much believe, then take the heed and take the advice.
I will.
Don't be a podger. Start losing some weight and eating healthily. You've got no salad either.
Yeah, I will do. Definitely.
You won't, you lying it.
I probably won't immediately, but I will.
No, you won't. I know you won't. But mark my words, though, if you don't, you're going to suffer late in life. And you don't want to suffer in life.
No, not really.
If you come over to the spirit world before your time, I will kick you from cloud to cloud. You've got a long, long life to write, and your books will get printed and they will get written about.
Thank you. Thank you.
And some of the words that you'll hear from people may not like. You may not like what you hear, but ignore.
Yes.
Because you are quite a sensitive man, so a lot of things you take to heart.
Yes. Yeah, very much.
Oh yes, you're quite a weak morsel, really.
Yes.
A big strapping young man like yourself, you're as weak as old Harry. You like water, not wine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I know I'm right. I don't tell lies, you know, unlike yourself. And now, are you not going to shave off that revolting piece of fur around your chin?
No, I am certainly not.
Well, I think you'll find that I'm right, because you will. By the end of this year, you will shave it off through a claim of yourself.
Ah, interesting.
And because someone will actually say to you, oh, let's meet you, and they look at you and they think, my God, he looks about 70. Where really you're only in your late 30s. Appearance is special.
I do very much look like a baby when I don't have a beard.
Well, she was born with a beard as a baby.
I'm sorry, when I don't have a beard, I look like a baby.
Well, I wouldn't say you look like a baby, you look like a bush baby. But you've got a bright future ahead of you, though. That's the good thing about it. And there's many spirit people around you as well.
Yes.
Who try and encourage you, but you're still a stubborn young man who doesn't do as he's told and don't listen.
Yeah.
And you need to listen more. Clean. Borrow that woman, the first woman I want to. Have you got ears like her that need to clean out? Because you can borrow her cotton buds or whatever, because obviously you need to clean out your ears.
I'll have a chat with her, see if she'll let me borrow them.
Well, I hope she doesn't. Because you can buy your own. You're quite a wealthy man in your own rights anyway. Why scrounge cottony buds off some woman? Oh, how low can you get? You may well laugh, young man, but I know I'm right.
Yes, you are.
Now, who's next? Oh. Yeah, I think it's time for a little rest.
Yes.
Yes, we'll rest for about 10 minutes so the medium can have a drink or whatever he does.
Okay. Thank
But
you.
no, don't thank me. It's been very nice talking to some of you. No doubt you'll hear from me again, so I know there's quite a few more that wish to speak. I say yes.
Yes, thank you.
Righto, see you later. Take
See-
care. Goodbye.
see you
God bless.
later.
Amen.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, bush baby.
So I'm going to put it on pause now while Alan comes back, and then we can have a conversation in between. Very good. I'm always on edge in case they go boo. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It is evening time in your world.
It is evening time in our world, yes.
And is it of the dark evening or the light evening?
It's a dark evening,
Oh, good job, it's light here then.
yes.
And how are you keeping?
Very well, thank you. And yourself?
Well, I'm dead. What can you expect?
Well, you never know.
You ask the most ridiculous questions, madam.
Of course, always.
How are we doing? Well, how do you think we're doing? We're still carrying on with the work that we left behind.
Yes.
Now, have you worked out who I am?
I have worked out who you are, Arthur.
And who do you think? Well, there you are then, dear.
Yes. Good evening, Arthur.
So how is everybody doing today?
Would you like them to be able to speak to you?
Well, yes, it would help.
Okay, so you can unmute yourselves.
You know, from what I get at the moment, there's much talent among us this evening.
Yes, there is.
But there's more talent than others.
Yes.
So it's like a growing cane or a growing flower. We all have to start off as a seed in the ground until we grow into the flower, into the bush, into the tree. And if we're all a good tree, then we grow from strength to strength. Do we agree?
We agree.
Well, why isn't no one else agreeing?
You've got to agree.
We agree.
Well, I hear one down voice for a start. Why are you down? You should be happy. Now tell me, which one of you, all of you here, is the strongest of the group?
Ooh.
Now that's a question. I know the answer, but I'm asking each and every one of you, what level do you feel you're at?
Say I'm in the middle.
Who's the most intelligent one? Who's the one that's read an awful lot of books? And who is the one that knows the philosophy inside out and who doesn't? I notice no answers coming through.
We don't know each other very well.
Well, then it's about time we did. Being
Okay.
strangers is not always a good account. You should know each other. You're all spiritual people. And through life, you'll meet many spiritual or very unspiritual people, which I think have already been said.
It
So
has.
if I ask each and every one of you, how spiritual would you say you are out of 100? What markings would you give?
Mm.
Yes.
Somebody- Mm.
Out of 10, I would say I'm a 5.
What out of 100? Well, then I say, Paul, you
Out
might
of
need to
100.
learn a lot more. So you're
Out of 100, a
95%.
bit higher.
So you're 95% not sure. So what about the man with the bushy beard?
Out of 100, probably about 55%.
55%. So you're on the verge of becoming a big head. And not a wonder child, which is good, I will say, which is good. Now, who else do we have with us? Let's go for Miss Maria.
Me?
How would you rate yourself?
Oh, I think I'm still at the beginning somewhere.
What, on 0?
I'd say about a 25 to 30.
Well, I would say you're a lot more higher than man. You
Okay.
undervalue yourself very much, dear, but then you always have undervalued yourself.
Yeah, true.
And you have many, many books as well.
I've got many, many books to read, yes.
Yes, you have. But when you read a book, though, you read it thoroughly. You don't skip the chapters like a lot of the cheaters do.
It depends on the book. It depends on who's written it.
Well, you see, in your world, anyone can write a book. But I always find that the older generation, and I mean the older generation of books, are far more evidential
Yeah,
than the books in your world at this moment.
yeah, true. I agree.
Well, I'm glad you do, dear. Because, you know, I would say, in my humble opinion, that your gift is extended to a great height. But there's still a lot more to learn.
Yeah, definitely.
And you was born with the gift of spirit as well.
I was, yes.
So how can you rate yourself with such a low percentage?
Oh, because you always have room to improve.
Well, you do, but not 95%, you know.
Yeah, I think if I were to rate myself at a higher rate, then I would.
Well, you see, one way is good because that doesn't give you an ego complex.
Right. Yeah.
And it's good not to be egotistical because you come crumbling down the ladder very fast.
Yeah, definitely.
But the more you learn, the more educated you become. Now, what about the young boy?
I don't think
up? What is up?
it's me thinking. I don't think I could give myself a rating. I don't feel like I'm educated enough to give myself a rating yet.
No, nor do I. But you live and you learn.
Yeah.
And you know, by learning about the spirit is a humble gift, is a precious gift, as I found out in my time. There's a learning curve and a procedure that you must follow. Even though you lead a normal life, and you do have a normal life, but sometimes, you know, you can split down the middle like cutting an apple in half. Half is spirit and half is normal life. And you've got to live a normal life as well as do the spiritual work as well, which I'm sure in time you'll find out, and this will come to you as well. Now, would that be right?
Yes.
I know it's right. One doesn't lie in the spirit world. When you come to our world, it's full of truth, wisdom, and loyalty. And even in my day and age, we have made many mistakes. But we rectify those mistakes by what we do now, by helping others in your world, by encouraging you to read the older philosophy, not the new philosophy.
I'm
Because
actually currently reading an older book.
Wait until I finish speaking before you speak.
Okay.
No, we don't say okay, we say all right.
All right.
I was going to say the older books are more evidential than the modern day books. Anyone can write a book, but what you write about is most important for others to learn by. And it hasn't got to be all about yourself either, which I've noticed that in many books in your world at this time, there are people that always say, this is how I started my life off, and this is where I took it, and this is where I wanted to be. It's an ego thing, which brings me back to, now tell me, Miss Maria, when are you going to be writing your first book or your second book?
When I know that I'm good enough to write a book.
But you are good enough now because your wisdom and your knowledge beseeches you is very high.
Yeah, it's I don't know where to start. I think I'm too scared to write the wrong thing.
Never fear, dear. You write through experience, you write through knowledge, and you write through wisdom.
Right, yes, definitely.
So I believe, you know, that within the next year or 2 years from this moment of time, you will write a book, but not in your name now, like the young man with the bushy beard. You will use an assudium name.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
Which will be extremely good, and both of your books will sell.
Okay.
Because of what's written in your books.
Right.
You see, people are interested in spiritual matters, spiritual encounters, and spiritual knowledge. They don't want to know when you were born, where you're from, and who you're married to, and how many kids you've got, and how spiritual they are. It's all balderdash.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know, writing about the spirit world is far from seen. Where if you look in the elder books written by many of the elder mediums, you'll find that they're books that you can't put down because the interest in the mind game is higher.
That's true.
And it's better than reading a cowboys and Indian book, which anyone can write.
Yeah.
And the two ladies, are you writing any books?
Mm-hmm.
Have they gone very quiet?
No, there's Tracy said no, and Morag, are you writing any books?
No, I have written a Kindle book, but I haven't written any more.
Well, I suggest you rethink the strategy, dear. Those that never think that they're capable enough of writing a book, you'll become quite good at what you know, what you've learned is what you write down.
Thank you.
Is that not true?
Yeah.
Then now is the time to write the book. Well, I say now, not tonight, this minute, this second. But to think about the strategy of where you're going to write it, how you're going to write it, and what's going to go in it. What's your name, dear?
Morag.
Well, I don't want you saying this is Morag speaking. This is what Morag wants to do. No one's interested in you, dear. They're interested in your knowledge and your wisdom.
Yeah.
That will also help you greatly. Now, who's the other woman?
Tracy.
Who?
Tracy.
Tracy. Now, tell me, dear, where are you going to write your book?
I hadn't got any plans to write a book.
No, you haven't. You don't have plans to do nothing, apparently. But you know,
I'm very busy.
will.
It's not writing.
Well, life is a busy life.
Mm-hmm.
But you will at some point write a book, and maybe a small book to start with.
Okay.
But you will do
Thank
this
you.
Well, you see, you underestimate yourself to a degree of not believing in yourself. No,
Possibly.
no, it's true, dear.
Okay, thank you.
Because the weight and the pressure on your life at the moment is not always that good.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a little time out to flourish will actually help you. It's like giving you a flower that's not come out in bud yet,
Yes.
but you'll soon blossom.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do blossom, that's when you'll get the urge to put pen to paper or ink to paper.
All right, thank you.
And I don't mean dipping the quill pen in the ink, because I know you don't have that in your world these days.
No.
But the urge to write will come at some point very unexpectedly. And when
All
you
right.
read it back to yourself, you'll be quite surprised. And I won't talk about Miss Freeman because she's been told many times about writing a book and she still doesn't do it. Do you not, Miss Freeman?
Yes, but I have been told that I must write it within the next 2 years.
You have been told many, many times and you still haven't done it yet.
No.
And I know when the time is right.
Yes.
Because, you know, the big difference is there is no time in the spirit world.
Yes.
But there's time in your world. And you don't know, you see, I say to people, write all what you can write because you never know when you're coming over to our side and you want to leave a legacy behind.
That's very true.
I'm still talking. And you see, in a book with your name or a pseudonym name on it gives you a good marking. But if you drop dead, not that you will, but if you do drop dead or you suddenly pass over and you never wrote nothing, how can you say, I did this, I did that, when you didn't?
Very true.
So I know it's very true. That's why I'm saying it. And now the question is, where's dear Jill?
There's Jill in the corner. Hello, Jill.
Hello.
Now, dear, I know you've had quite a lot of trauma in your life as well.
Yes, I have.
So why haven't you written something about your trauma?
I have thought about it.
Well, you know, thinking, I could think I want to be alive again, but I know it will never happen.
No.
But you've got a long way in life to go, and you need to rethink that could help so many other people in dealing and coping with what you've had to deal and cope with yourself. Is that not correct? It is correct, you know.
It is.
And again, you know, if everyone wrote a book in truth and honesty, we'll find it will make more sense than writing a load of old beeswax, where people will laugh at the book and burn it or throw it in the bin. And that is not good for the spirit world.
No.
We have to speak from the heart, because the heart holds many a title, many a question, and many a feature, so does the mind. And I'm sure all of you know that the mind is universal, it's not just a part of life. So it is important to write everything down, keep your memoirs, or keep a diary of daily events, what you've done, and not to exaggerate, but to write down true events that you can share with people, not who drank the last bottle of gin, or who had the last cigarette, or who ran out of bread that day. We don't care about that. We care about the truth.
Yeah.
And it is the truth that people need to hear, witness, and read for themselves. So you see, there's always a method and a reason in your lives why you're here and why you have to talk, and why you have to express what you think, what you say. Because we aren't going to go away. When we leave this world, you'll come to our world. When you come to our world, you'll still be assisting others. But will you be assisting others with what work you should have done yourself, that you could have done yourself?
Yeah.
So why leave the burden of other people to say or to write about yourselves when you could have done it in helping other people?
Yeah,
See, it makes sense, doesn't it?
it does.
Now, who's that talking now?
Wow,
Well, how you doing?
we're doing fine, thank you.
What about everybody else?
We're fine, thank you.
Fine.
They're still alive.
You what?
I said they're still alive.
Well, they're still alive because they're not bleeding dead, are they? If they
Well,
were
I
bleeding
hope
dead,
not.
they would be
I
on their
hope not. It
worst.
would be very tragic if somebody passed over whilst we were doing this.
Would it be funny if someone dropped dead on screen now?
No, it wouldn't be.
It wouldn't be, but it'd be a bonus for us, you know, but not for you. Because you can't revive them where you are, can you?
No. You having a good look round?
Mind your own beeswax. We all know the individual, aren't you?
Yes.
I'll have a look around, I'll have a look around. I want to see who's here. Well, they seem nice people, apart from Miss Nosy Nora. You often get told off.
Yes.
Wonder why?
Yeah, I wonder why.
Oh, maybe because you're bossy.
Probably.
You remind me of our old mistress, Miss Hedges.
Oh, right.
She was a bossy old cow as well. She used to whack us with a ruler across our knuckles if we misbehave.
That's not nice.
Well, no, I'm just saying, though, she used to whack our knuckles with a ruler. Or make us stand in the corner and well, I won't say what we used to do in the corner, but there you go. Because the school I went to was like a little village school. They had a bell on the outside where you used to ring for us to go in. Miss Hedges used to come out and ring this bell and say, all get in. So we all had to go in. But she was a useless teacher, a bit of an old cow, really. Have you ever read that?
No.
Oh, have you ever read that?
No.
Oh, countryside. There was lots of animals, lots of cows, lots of sheep and horses.
Whereabouts in the country was it?
Well, you been there?
No, I'm just asking.
Oh, it was in a place called Cambridge.
That's nice.
Well, you been there?
Yes, I've been to Cambridge.
Is it still country?
It's still country. It's a bit more built up now, but it's still country.
What's it built up with?
Houses and factories.
Ah. There's a lot more there now than what it was my day.
Definitely.
We go back to, well over 100 years.
Yeah.
It was quite, it was more ground than everything else. You think you was liked at my time? Well,
Would I have liked it in your time? Probably.
oh, they wouldn't.
I'd have had to work harder.
Well, you would, because it was a woman's work. You see, a woman
Yeah.
had to do what she was told to do. Otherwise, she gets slapped by the old geezer.
Yeah, very unpleasant.
But why say you want to live in that time when you don't really? No, you're going to be quiet now. You can't answer that, can you? Oh, you like Miss Hedges?
Am I like Miss Hedges?
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, don't you know if you are or you're not?
No. I'm not normally bossy.
Oh. I thought you were.
Oh well, never mind.
Never mind what?
Have you come to tell us anything else?
What do you want to know?
So, when were you
You want to know
born?
how to milk a cow?
Right.
Well, do you want to know how to milk one? You
Go on
put
then,
his
tell us how to
tit.
milk a cow.
Well, you sit up with a bucket under and you put his tit.
Oh, right.
And you start squirting it up and down, and all milk shoots out into the bucket. There's a lot of that going on there.
Yeah, it's all done by machinery now.
Oh no, you've got to pull a tit. It's easier and better in those days. It didn't rain a lot either.
It rains all the time now.
Oh, does it?
Yes,
You should be a weatherwoman then.
probably.
Well, you'd like to be a lady of the weather?
No.
Oh. Why is there no one else talking?
Well, they can talk to you if you want them to.
Listening
Well, at
to
least they won't
you.
talk back. Oh, that missus in the front with a tasty bit of stuff, isn't she?
Now you've got to behave yourself now.
I am behaving myself. Well, I said was that she's a tasty bit of stuff. I take it she's alive in your world.
Yeah, she's alive in our world.
Oh, and tell her I'll be waiting until she comes over here then.
More than likely.
Ugh. So they're all clever people.
Yes,
How do you know they are?
they're all very spiritual and they're all very clever.
Oh, like me then, because I'm very spiritual and I'm clever.
Yeah.
Right.
Goodbye.
Well, hello.
Well, hello.
And how you all doing today?
We're all doing very well, Maud.
No, this is not Maud.
It's not
Do I
Maud.
sound like a woman? No, it's not.
Well, I thought you were Maud.
Well, you got it wrong, Mrs.
Well, there you go.
You
Excuse
just
me.
insulted me. How dare you insult me?
Well, then can you tell us who you are?
The name's Albert.
Oh, thank you, Albert.
Maud, calling me Maud. That's the first time I've ever been called a woman before.
Well, there you go.
And what's your name?
Judith.
Are you sure it's not John
No, it's Judith.
or Jack?
No,
Well, I'm no bloody Maud.
I apologise.
Yes, well, apology accepted, because I know I got to behave myself on here.
You come yeah, you do have to behave yourself. You come from the same northern part of the country.
Well, there's a lot of people that come from the north part of the country, but don't mean the same name, bloody Maud.
Okay.
God, where do they get people these days? That's what I want to. In my day, a woman's place was in the home.
Probably.
No, they were. I'm telling you, they were. You had to do as you're told as well. The house was always clean from top to bottom. The washing was always done on a scrubbing board. And the washing was always picked out on the line by the woman, not the man. The man was the provider, but the woman was the, I'll say skivvy, because she was a skivvy. You agree?
Yes.
You said that in a very harsh tone voice.
Because it's not
You
like
had-
that now. It's not like that now.
Well, it might not be like that in your world, but it was in mine at the time.
Yes.
And you haven't even asked me my name.
Thank you, Albert.
Well, there you go. And this is my first time on here as well. So you may as well tell me who I'm talking to.
So you're talking to, there's Ali and Jake and Tracy and Morag and
Now go
Steve.
back to Ali. Now hold your horses, girl.
All right.
Now, is Ali a man or a woman?
A woman.
Well, say Ali is a woman.
Ali's a woman. Jake's a young man.
Well, Jake wouldn't be a lady, would he?
No, but he's
Carry on.
Morag's a lady.
Is she
Tracy's
Welsh?
a lady.
Is
Maria's a
Morag
lady.
Welsh? I'm talking. Is Morag Welsh?
No, she's
Okay.
Scottish.
She's a Scottish Welsh.
Just Scottish.
Oh, well, and who else have we got?
We've got Steve
Oh, yes, I see him.
and we've got Maria.
Oh, yes, I see her. Yes, yes.
We've got Tracy.
Right. Oh, yes, I see Tracy. Yes. And who
We've
else
got
we got?
Corrine.
Oh, yes, fine looking woman she is.
And we've
Is
got
she good
Jill.
at washing?
I'm not sure, but we've got Jill.
Oh, yes, young Jill. Yes, yes. Is her name Jill or Gillian?
Jill.
Oh. Now, why does that voice ring a bell? I don't know why.
I do.
Do ya? Well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? So which one of you lot was in the army? None of you, did. None of you, none of you, none of you.
No.
Because you had family in the army, though, didn't you?
Yes.
So who had army family then? Or should I say, who had family in the army?
I did.
Me,
Yeah.
Now, who said that?
Jill.
Oh, you had members of the family in the army, did you?
I did.
And who was in the army then?
My dad and my granddad.
Oh, and your father is still alive, is he? I take it, because he's not in my side.
He is.
And he's not a well pickle.
He's what, sorry?
He's not a well person. He goes up and down like a yo-yo.
Yes, that's true.
Is he constipated?
I don't think
Need
so.
some prunes. Some good old-fashioned prunes, always run right through your guts.
He always has prunes.
He what?
He always buys prunes.
Well, he should try bloody eating them then, because they make a bit of his bowel control. So who else has got army relatives?
I do as well.
And who's that?
Maria.
Oh, yes. Now, your father was in the army,
Yes, he was.
but he was an ordinary soldier, though, was he?
No,
He was an officer of some sort.
that was my granddad.
I don't care whether he was your grandfather or your father, but he was some sort of officer.
Yes, he was.
But I want to say, though, to you, ducks, that he was a fine man
He was a very fine man.
and a very loud but well-spoken man.
Yes, he was.
And he liked his uniform all prim and proper and pressed,
Yes, he did.
and
Yes,
his shoes polished,
yes, definitely.
and creases down the trousers as well.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, yes. Well, and who else has got family in the army or had them?
I did. Steve.
And who are you?
I'm Steve.
No, well, obviously we can tell you've not been in the army.
Nope.
You need to do an army assault course.
Yep.
Is this right? You like pickled onions?
Say again, sorry.
Do you like pickled onions?
I do. Yeah.
I know you do, and they play havoc with your guts as well. Plus give you wind also. And is this also right, you like pickled eggs?
Not overly.
But you've had them though, haven't you?
I have had them, yeah.
A dirty little boy. Eggs are meant to be eggs, not pickled or fried or whatever. You're supposed to eat an egg. Now, did your family ever have pickled eggs, Maria? Dear?
Yes.
Is your name Maria? No, it's not.
No, it's not. But they did anyway.
Who did?
My family.
I'm on about Maria's family. Oh, you're an irritating little maggot, aren't you?
Sorry, sorry, was it? I didn't catch the last bit.
Did your family used to eat pickled eggs?
Yes, they did.
Well, a dirty habit then.
Yeah.
Now, is this right? Oh, you like the seaside?
I do, yes.
And you rode a donkey when you was a young girl?
No, I never did. Sorry.
Well, someone in your family was riding a donkey sitting on those old wooden deck chairs.
Yeah, I understand that. Yes.
And it was your wooden deck chairs on the beach.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Are you deaf?
I think my laptop is deaf.
Don't blame machinery. It's your hearing, girl. I said, did they have wooden deck chairs which allowed the candy flossing in the dock?
Did you have the wooden deck chairs?
Yes, I understand the wooden deck chairs.
And do you understand a little girl wearing a wide-brimmed hat holding a donkey?
Um,
And there's a photograph of her somewhere holding a donkey.
okay, I'm not sure about that one. Sorry.
Well, I am sure, so you need to check.
I will check. I promise.
Now, where's Gillian gone?
Jill's at the top.
I'm here.
Now, you've had a few donkeys as well?
Yes.
Yes. And you've ridden them as well?
Yes, I have.
And you like seafood?
Oh, I do.
You dirty girl. And do you like winkles and pickles and things like that?
I do, yes.
And is that why you're porky at the moment?
I've put a few pound on, yeah, thanks.
You put on more than a few pounds. Now you've got family in the spirit world.
I have.
Now, for some reason, saying this, your mother says hello to you.
Oh, hello, Mum.
And she says that you're looking like her more and more.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, woman, Phantom, daughter looks like you.
Thank you.
But you've got a soul in the spirit world as well.
I have.
Who apparently died very young in his age.
He did, bless him. Yeah.
And you've got lots of photos of him. I know everybody has photos of their loved ones.
They're everywhere.
Have you got no one of both boys together?
I have, yes.
And if you look at both of the boys together in your photograph, they look alike. They look like twins.
They do, they always did.
Well, one of them is getting to be like your weight size. He's putting on weight. He's a porker.
He is a bit, yeah.
No, not he's a bit. He is. Because I'm told he likes to guzzle beer a lot as well.
Yes, he's like his mother.
No comment. Well, no, actually, I will make a comment. You're more of a wine person than you are a beer person.
Yes, that's right.
Because apparently you always keep a bottle of wine in your fridge. Now, is
Yes.
that not right? Oh, that is right. Yes, but you're not a very good cook, though, like Corinne downstairs.
I'm not bad.
Not bad, you're useless.
Thank you.
Can you do? Let me see. Come on. Now, is this not right? You eat out more than you eat in?
Not
And you
lately,
eat-
no.
No, but you eat these mild foods in cafes and cafeterias
Yes.
where you got the food at home you could cook and you won't cook.
What's point on your own?
Well, what's the point in having a cooker? You never go to use. To me, that's plain laziness. A woman's places in the home, but she's never been there long enough. Right, I've said me piece.
Thank you.
Now, where's the little man gone?
Jake.
Hello.
Now, which one of you said Jake?
Judith did.
Well, Judith, kindly keep your cake all shut.
Okay.
Now, where's Jake?
I'm here.
Yes, I know you're there. You said you're there. Can you cook or cook?
Yeah, to an extent.
Yes, you're not a very good cook either. You're finicky and you're fussy eater.
Sometimes,
Do
yeah.
you eat a lot of this foreign muck?
No.
Well, don't even bother trying to eat it because it'll give you gastric wind.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yes, well, ask young Stephen because he eats for the whole world. Don't you, Stephen? Where's his voice gone?
I'm here. Yeah, I do.
Well, then kindly answer. Don't sit down when I can't mind read.
Sorry.
So you should be. So you're studying, Jake?
No, not anymore.
What do you mean not anymore? You got to study?
No, I'm working now.
Well, then you're studying.
I study on the side, but I don't study in
Well, then
terms
you
of
just lied. You can't
Say that again,
study
sorry.
on the side and say, I'm not studying when you're studying.
I'm not in education anymore, I mean, sorry.
I know you're not in education, otherwise you wouldn't be on here. Good
True.
God, where did they all come from? What are you laughing at?
Myself.
Well, I'm glad you're laughing at yourself and not myself. Right, I'm going now. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
And there's still a couple more people that want to speak, so don't switch it off.
No,
Will
we
you
won't
kindly,
switch it
because we'll
off.
let
We'll
them
wait.
know I'm talking. Will you kindly be quiet? I was going to say you can switch off for 10 minutes while the medium has a rest. And
Okay.
don't say nothing bad behind my back because I can hear what you're saying.
Okay.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, Gillian. Goodbye,
gonna-
Gillian.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I'm going to put it on pause for a moment. We'll see who comes back. Good evening, friend.
How do you have a friend?
Well, if you're coming through Alan, you won't be a foe.
Well, it could be a foe, but I'm not a foe.
No, you're not a foe.
No, we don't believe in foes.
No.
I don't think I don't even know what a foe is. What is a foe?
The enemy.
Oh, is it? Oh no, I'm not an enemy. Well, how have you all enjoyed this evening?
Been very nice, thank you.
So why was you cringing then, Judith, dear?
Well, earlier, because
Yes.
sometimes our friends are a little they're a little near the mark, and I know they can't help it, and I know that that's the
Yes,
truth
but
and the
you
whole
see,
truth.
if they don't be the person that they are, then they're not real, are they?
No.
They've got to be the person they used to be in the land of the living as such. If they came to all prim and proper, they wouldn't be the person that they are.
No.
You see, by doing it the way this is done, you get to hear the real people
Yes.
and the real person. You know, I know many of them can have a little bit of naughtiness about them. They may be harsh. They might be a little bit cruel, I think, in some way.
Yes.
But then if you was in their time and their life, you would understand why. And many, many years ago, we could go back hundreds of years, 150 years. And the man and the woman then are totally different from the man and the woman now. Now, I know your world is full of equality now, but it wasn't in those days, you see.
No.
Where the washing was always done by the woman hung out on the line with these old wooden cleggy peggies or whatever they're called. And, you know, and they didn't have a washing machine, they had a scrubbing board.
Yes.
So it was very, very hard on the women in those days. And, you know, the men used to go down to the pub and they used to get drunk. They used to come back and they used to demand their lunch or their dinner or their supper because that's the only way they knew how. And it is their upbringing in those days as to how they learned about life. Now, I know sometimes that people could cringe and they think, oh, no, they're going to hit below the belt. But at least you know they're not going too far below the belt. They just tell you the truth as you know the truth to be.
That's
And
very
sometimes, and you know, sometimes the truth always hurts. It's a good medication to have. And I'm sure you know that most of you on here tonight have not had extremely good fortune luck in life, either as a child or as an adult. And you've each suffered losses, remorse, and maybe you all wish that you hadn't done certain things in life that you did. Maybe you all wish to change and be something that you know you can be, but just that little bit of fear that stops you from becoming the person you should be in life. And you know, sometimes you'll get a harsh spirit person that might come through and say, you know, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? But it's all done and said in care. It's not done to humiliate people, or it's not done to reprimand people. Because in the spirit world, you know, we don't reprimand. But you could get someone, let's say, back from the 15th century who you don't know. You find their speech completely different from the speaking of today. Yet their lives will be so different from the life of today. So in my eyes, you know, it's all down to experience, because you listen, you learn. And we can all ridicule, and we can all say, oh, was he harsh, wasn't he rude, wasn't he nasty? But each person represents who they are. And who they are is who they are. You can't pretend, oh, he's making it all up, because he's not, you know. Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense, yes.
So you see, he's not to be reprimanded, not by any doubt at all. And I know I could hear in the sideline, and you know, the most person I feel sorry for is young Stephen.
Oh,
And I don't know why, but you know, sometimes, can he hear me?
yes, he can hear you.
But I can't hear him. Can you speak, young Stephen?
I am, yes.
You see, now your little reprimands, it seems to have hit a little hole in your heart.
Yeah.
But you see, sometimes that little hit in the heart can either be like a bullet wound, a stab wound, or an arrow shot, or a dart, or whatever you want to call it. But you'll learn by it, because in the living world we all make mistakes. And whether we're thin, we're large, we're extra large. I mean, if you look at Oliver Hardy, now look at the size of him. He was twice the size of you, but he made a Hollywood name for himself, some told. But he was ridiculed for most of his life, being the size that he was. And as he got older, he got bigger. And he suffered most mental health problems. Not that I'm saying you will, because you won't. But I'm just using Oliver Hardy as an example. You are who you are in life. But sometimes, you know, the spirit people want to help by being the person that they are, because they see that you are a kind man. You're very sincere and you're very honest with others. But maybe you're not to yourself and you need to be. Does that make sense?
Very accurate, yes.
Because, you know, sometimes we all feel pain in life and we often cry ourselves to sleep, or we can lay down and we can weep and say, why did they say that about me? Why say cruel words to me? And we don't think of it as caring, we think of it as insulting. But sometimes, you know, it's an arrow in the heart. And we do think when we're alive that people attack us for the most obscure reasons. And people can be very malicious, spiteful, nasty, and it's only what they think. But sometimes, you know, other people's thoughts are down to jealousy because you've got what they haven't got. And, you know, you are a marvellous person. You need to believe in yourself a little bit more. You're a courageous person. Now, you're a healer as well, are you?
Yes, yes, I am.
But you're a very good healer, but sometimes you don't believe you are.
Yeah, yeah.
But why would we give you a gift that's so strong and so accurate that you don't believe in? One day you believe, next day you don't. You can heal a person and they can be spick and span the following day, and the next day they go down the hill. But you're not a magician and you're not a miracle maker, as no human is, whether we're mediums, healers, or faith healers, or whatever religion there is. We cannot cure the world, but we can ease the pain a little bit. And you pray as well.
I haven't done for many, many years.
No, but maybe you should, you know, because prayer is the greatest gift that God could ever give. And if you prayed every night to people that are irrelevant or relevant to yourself, including yourself, then you're finding yourself healing yourself. Now, I know for a fact that in time, your intelligence will come a lot more stronger, faster, and thicker, because you will have belief in yourself. You have belief in the afterlife.
Yeah.
You have belief in God.
Yes.
You know, even God says, well, where's my prayers? And I'm not saying you have to pray every time you speak to the Spirit or you work with the Spirit, but it does help.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Miss Maria will agree with me because she's had quite an earth battery in life as well.
Yeah, I did. I have.
So you see, we all take a lot of pain in life. And sometimes, you know, people in your world, and I think it's like, as I said, the devil in the deep blue sea, which is the good part, or there's the horrible part. And we're always tested by others who want to bring us down, ridicule us, and make us feel little and small, and we don't have the knowledge, but we do. And we should share that knowledge with those that believe. Those who don't believe don't deserve the right to be in your company. Is that all right, Miss Maria?
Yeah, that's true.
And I know you know that you spend many a time in your emotional state and your nervous state and wondering, should I continue the work or should I quit the work? But you never have though, dear, because it's all to do with faith. And the more faith you gain, all of you, if you have the faith that you've got now, that you had then your faith can only get stronger. You can only bring yourself down if you feel down and you want to join the unscrupulous army that doesn't deserve to be in your life. You deserve to be in the life of God and the spirits and the great spirits. Now, Maria, dear, do you have a picture of the great Jesus of Nazareth?
I do, yes.
And it's quite a nice sized picture as well.
Yes, it is.
And do you not often look at the face of him, and then sometimes you might see a little twinkle in his eye?
Yeah, I think I do.
You do, because you know he bestows himself on many a person in your world, and he likes to make you feel comfortable and let you know that you're safe.
Yeah, that's true.
And you can also say you're like a little lost lamb that's not turned into a sheep yet.
Right,
Or,
yeah.
or, and you know, you are a very good family woman.
Yes.
And
Like,
you're a very good mum.
thank you.
But it's about time you know that I'm going to say, like young Stephen, you need to think of yourself more and become a lot more positive more.
Yeah, I know.
Because you'll be alive a lot more longer than the average Jack, Jill or John.
Right.
So and if I say that you've outlived quite a few of the trashy mediums, let's say, and you have,
Yeah.
because you've attended more funerals, but not your own.
Yeah.
So doesn't that tell you one thing, that God requires you in your world to continue in your work, the same as Stephen? And I know even with young Gillian or Jill, that she's had a traumatic time in life, and she may cry herself to sleep, or she'll look at photos of her son and cry. And you know, tears cannot bring back the dead into the living world, as we know. But they are quite well and quite alive and quite with you all. And they always will be. But sometimes it's very hard to believe that they're with you. Isn't that right, ladies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, and as far as mediums are concerned, and no disrespect to any medium, but in my opinion, the prices that they charge for their scrupulous messages are appalling and abominable. And they should be whipped, but they will learn later on in life that they did wrong, and they will fall from the grace of their own lives. And they will learn by their own lives, and they will learn by their mistakes, where people like you, all of you, won't have to go through that period of life where you'll be disgraced. So, you know, more praise should be given by yourselves, and ask Spirit to come closer. Ask God to forgive, because God will forgive you wherever you may be in life, or whatever you do there. He's always listening. And I've often heard, you know, people say, well, how can God listen to a million voices? How can God be around the world? So how does he listen? Answer that. But he does listen. He listens to the prayers, whether it's in Arabic, whether it's in English, whether it's in Dutch. It doesn't matter what language the prayer is done. God understands the universe, and He is universal. And you know, I'm sure that you've seen many films, religious films over the years, where Jesus goes into the mountains and God strikes up the Ten Commandments. Now, how many of you help you actually believe that that's the truth? Or is it because a book's been written and rewritten so many hundreds of times? What is the truth? And it's always your mind that will give you the answer. Is it truth or was it fabricated truth? But you all as fellow mediums or healers or people always know the truth of the spirit and always know the truth by the evidence that is given by the spirit. And those that don't want to learn by the spirit, then is their own fate. But it's not your fate. Your fate is to grow, to flourish, to be the rose on the bush and not the daffodil in the garden. Even though daffodils are nice, but the rose in the bush can grow continuously and get bigger and stronger. And the stronger the roots, the stronger the person. And it doesn't matter what colour they are, yellow, green, pink, blue. It's how you are as a person that always counts. And I know each of you in here tonight are quite religious in your own ways, but sometimes you may fear who you speak to and who you say, oh, I speak to the dead, or I speak to spirits. And none of you can actually say, no, I don't, because I know you do. So who is the living and who is the dead? Because as far as I'm concerned, we are the living, you are the dead. Because we have eternal life, everlasting life. But we always have to find the right person that we're able to express our views through and talk to you about this. Am I making sense, Judith?
You are indeed, Sydney.
So you see, a learning curve is always an important curve to learn by. Don't follow no one's advice, follow your own advice. Because each and every one of you have guides, helpers, doorkeepers, and the bigger the power, the bigger the helpers, the bigger the guides. And you accumulate so much more. Even if you're not aware of it, you don't need to be aware of it. But all you need to know is that your guides with you are chosen from birth. When you're in your mother's stomach waiting to be born, the minute you're born is the moment the guide is assigned to you. And it could be a little boy guide, it could be a little girl guide. But as you get older, he changes or she changes into a woman or a man because they've been assigned to protect you and help you overcome the obstacles of life, to help you see, feel, and hear the right words that you need, and not the lies or the fabrication, which you know is not true. And I believe you know that each and every one of you have had lies said about you, or lies said to you. But what you choose to believe, to go down the pan and disappear, or come back and remain strong and get rid of the person and say, take your rude rubbish elsewhere, or disassociate yourself with people that are not going to help you or praise you, they will bring you down. You don't need that. You need self-belief, because we can't give you the belief. It's you that can give the self-belief. We can always be there to pick up the pieces, and we can always be there to enter your dream states and give you the wonderful dreams of spirit and know that you are on the right pathway. But sometimes, you know, it's a choice. And a choice is something you have to really think about. Is it the right choice or the wrong choice? But I always say it's the right choice to follow God's law, God's power, and the spiritual energy and the spiritual power is always the right path. I wouldn't want to go into the land of the devilment and the land of where everything is cruel and unkind, and where the spirit world flourishes with the wonderful flowers and trees and mountains, and the rivers where the fish and all the mammals swim. You won't get that in the devil's world. Everything down there is so discoloured, and everything there is so, as far as I know, very crackly and dark and thundery. It's just a nice place. And you know, some people actually like living down there because they think that they're the rulers. And if you cast your minds back to, let's say, Hitler, now look at all the trouble he caused. So he would never go to the spirit world because he was an atheist. So he didn't believe in God. He believed in pain, cruelty, and many a person suffered their own death at the hands of one man because he thought he was right. So many a parent or many a father or mother, brother or sister had to receive messages that their son or their brother had been dead or they'd been shot dead. And they didn't say to them, oh, well done, Hitler, you got our son killed. So he didn't have a revolving army that liked him. He had a revolving army that despised him because of his cruelty. He just had a special knack of being the leader and not a very good leader. Otherwise, he would have won the war and not lost the war. And you could talk about Mussolini or any other religious person that always believes that they're right and they're not, or the crackpots. I think this is the right word, is it not, Judith?
Sorry, Sydney, it broke up then. What?
I said, is that not right if I use the word crackpots?
Yes, crackpots is quite a good word.
Well, you see, you've had numerous crackpots in your world over the centuries that claim this and claim that, but it's all a claim. Where's the proof? And it's all to do with what you believe in again. You can either believe the truth or you can carry on believing what some man's talking about or what he's preaching about or what he's read out of a book that necessarily won't always give you the true answers you want. And you'll never find the true answers in a book. The true answers are in your own soul, your own mind. Now, does that make sense?
It does indeed.
Well, I'm going to leave you with that again because I don't want to bore you all. So I will leave that with you all.
Thank
And
you,
I
Sydney.
think, we may call this an end because
Yes.
otherwise Megan's going to be very exhausted. And
Yes.
maybe we can set up another occasion at some point, Judith, yeah?
Yes, certainly,
And
Sydney.
we can carry this on again.
Yep, that
Because,
would be
you
fun.
know, the spirit world is a universal and there's so much more to talk about, to share the knowledge, to share the wisdom. That will help you grow more than just getting messages.
Yes.
Even though I think sometimes the messages are good and they're humorous, or they can be hurtful and unkind. But which way do you take the messages? And, you know, like myself, my sister died before I did. And it was most heartbreaking that she died before I did. It was only when I passed away that I found the truth.
Yes.
And the truth is something I want to share with everyone.
Thank you.
So I would leave this all with you anyway. And I hope that I'll see you or speak to you again at some point.
Thank you,
And don't
Sydney.
disappear. So I will leave that with you now. And God bless you all. And remember, God is watching, God is listening, but so is all your family in the spirit world. And they are watching you. So I will leave you with God's blessing.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
great care of
Thank you.
and
God
see
bless
you
you
again.
too.
Thank you, Sydney.